Uh, I do a small video here. What I have done is I have created this space here, and then I have, see if I can refresh here. I have taken your file here, imported it to something called OpenRefine. It's a Google tool. Then I have reconciliated all those organizations here, and then I get some suggestions that is it this or not this, and we don't have things. So lesson learned from this is what I have added on here. So this unique identifier, I think, is you need to start think about. Also, if two organizations are merging, how will you have two entities? Will you say it including the other one? One way to identify them is use the Wikidata Q number, maybe, as a unique identifier, or have your own, or have an extra field. It looks like you have duplicated names. Then the normal pattern is to use same as. In the Wikidata world, now I'm running it in Swedish, sorry. In Wikidata, you can just change the language, and as you see, now I'm lost. Now I have to find what English is. Svenska. There. So just changing the language, you get all the tags and so on in another language. So now I have this item here. It's public beaches that I'm trying to make better. So what I did now is that I update the label. So what we have for every object is one label, one description, and then you have more, say, also known as. And then you can have more languages. So in this case, we have Swedish, we have English, but you support up to 300 languages or something like that. And then you say it's an instance of, and so on and so on. And then you can have more advanced examples, which you will have for organizations. For example, this data inspection has changed name. So if we go to Wikidata, we have Swedish Authority for Privacy Protection, the English name. The German name is Staatliche Datenschutzamt. And I have some additional things so I can see who has changed. And then we have Integritetsmyndigheten. But you call it Datainspektionen. And that is an alias, also known as. And if we go further down, you can see here you have relationships, also part of Ministry of Justice, inception when it was started. So we have 9,000 different properties like this. And then you have official name. Datainspektionen is what I say it should be, and then not be, you had in your data. And then it's end time 31st of December. And here we have also a source. Normally you should have a date or something like that. So that comes from this page. And we say the next day it start called Integrationsmyndigheten. So it's still Q number, this one. And the cool thing now, this is the the user interface. So if I go down and take if I take the URL like this, then I come back to this page. But if I add JSON, you will see this in JSON. So the whole Wikidata is done to be easy machine readable. Another interesting thing is that the reason we created this Q number was that we have Datainspektionen in a German article. But how should they know they should link this one? In the English, it's the same. And then we started having links in all articles, and some person thought it's maybe to add another layer, that's Wikidata. So now you can see in this German article that there are 3 more articles in 3 different languages, and that information comes from Wikidata. What has happened now is that Wikidata has exploded. So the first part is about this social media follower and so on. And then you have identifiers further down here. So this Q number is the same as VIAF. It's on library database. ISNI is also a library database. WorldCat is also a library database. LinkedIn company ID. So they are on LinkedIn as Datainspektionen. They have an organization number, and then Jan Einar Lie has added that. So that's 22100. And that I also have added to those records. So what I did this matching, went through it, took some hour or something. You have your ID here, and then your normal fields are over here. I haven't checked the quality of your normal fields, but what I did was that I said add column based on reconciliation value, and then I can say I would like to have P17, which is country, I think, here, land, and then he will go and find what country does those objects have, and that's hopefully Sweden. That takes some time, and then he creates a new column with that value. You see here. So what then I had done that for the Wikipedia article. So this is the link to the Wikipedia article. The link from the to the Wikipedia article can also be used with the Wikidata Q number, and the Q number is what you see here. So that's you have in this column now. Then LSV is the label in Swedish. So Älvbyns kommun is the Swedish label, and this I also took from the reconciliated value. Label English, description Swedish, description English. We didn't have any post address. I think some people are updating it now. We have a telephone number here for this one. We have the organizational number here. We don't abbreviation. This is your fields. So I think if we could help each other, it's excellent. Earl is your, but we have, I guess, also the Earls. So when we reconciliate, it's good to have more information. And here you say it's SE, and maybe you could say it's Q34. Q34 is the Wikidata number for Sweden. Depends what you should do and so on. And here, for example, I have a plugin, so he creates a query, and this query displays what objects we have for Sweden. So you can see here to the right we have the flag. And if I do like that, we can see, and this is also exploding, so I think maybe we have 1,000 properties for something like Sweden. So you can see what part it has, Götaland and so on. I guess when it's created, who is the king, population, which is the countries does it border to, what side you are driving the car on, what currency you have, and then the currency is pointing on another object, hopefully. Maybe it's getting too heavy this there. Oh no, I jumped down to krona. So this is krona, and then you can see we have articles about krona in 77 languages. And here, so we have the language, the Wikidata object is, and we have the article if someone has written it. So normally it's more languages here. So you can see that Bosnian call it Svenska kronan. And now we also start adding pronunciation. So that means that people are adding voice files, maybe not the Swedish krona. And here you have some links. So what we have done now is to say that your short name, or what we call it, is the same as Wikidata Q number. And I think it's good to have the Q number in your code. And if you can have a stable identifier, then we can suggest to have a property for it, and so on. So here we have also the geo shape for Sweden, which means we can see how Sweden looks. Maybe not good for you, but it could. I have done it for nature reserve. Highest point, what kind of government form we have, and so on. Kings we have had, head of government, diplomatic relationships. Ukraine started 13 January 1992, and so on. So it's a lot of data in it. But so now what I've done is that I've added my own repository, said that this is the CSV file where from this reconciliation data, added those columns here. I think you can see it on the version control here, add files via upload, and this is my comment. And so then I had those new fields which were not in your original file, and then I have things I felt what is odd. The least odd thing is that we didn't have Wikidata match for some things here. If we should have it or not, someone has to decide and add it. I think Landstinget Sörmland, is that still something, or is that region Sörmland? I'm not the best on this part of information. But as I said here, data inspection, and maybe you should have the latest name. Then we have Malmö stad, maybe Malmö kommun is better. Malmö högskola has been updated to be Malmö University. Revisorsnämnden is called Revisorinspektionen. Look, I'm not skilled on this, I say it again, but I think they say it in this Wikipedia article. Trollhättans stad, maybe better to have Trollhättans kommun. Solna stad, maybe better to have Solna kommun. But I think Solna stad is used by here they say or, so it's both are good. This is more or less confusion. And here we have Stockholm Länsstad, maybe region Stockholm is better or not. The good thing is, if we have identifiers, we don't care what you call it. And if you can have the Q number and say this is the same, then we can match check in both directions. One maybe bad thing with Wikidata is that everyone can change, so things can be corrupted. People can do things they think are correct. I also do what we do, for example, with the Nobel Prize people. Is that we check them. So they have an API. So if you have an API or something like that, then we could run a test. Here, Nobel API. So then I have a notebook where I compare what Nobel Prize winners, the Nobel Prize people say they have. Now they have changed the API, but I think it still works. So that means that I run a check. And this check runs a query taking 1,500 Nobel Prize winners. He didn't just find 955. And then this is what you get from them. They have changed it, as I said. They have more labels now, and they also have same as Wikidata, which we think is cool. So they are also moving in that direction. And this is same as Wikidata for the person, but they also have, I think, when the person, I don't know if I run the latest version of the API, but they also have, here, the, what's it, 2.0, I think 2.1 is the latest. See what's happening now. Did I get the latest? So then they start say same. Oh no, the latest is coming. They also say that this person was born at a place with a text string, and then they use a Q number to say this place with this text string is the same as Wikidata. See if we can get it. It's not formatting, but here you have, for example, you have North America Q30, you have Q125, same as. If we just get 10, maybe it's small. Yeah, here we have. So they have text strings in more languages. They have a city, and this is a country in city now, same as Wikidata, same as Wikipedia. Wikidata should be more stable, and it is. So what happened was that I was running this notebook, and then I found out that we missed one Nobel Prize winner. It was last October, and the reason was that someone has changed in Wikidata, and it was a vandalization. And then another person did a rollback, but he also rolled back that the person was a Nobel Prize winner. Because what we have down here is that we have versions for everything. And that may be one reason that if you, it's like GitHub, that you get a really good, you can see that when this was changed. And I can also do compare two points in time, and then they say they have added preferred rank. Preferred rank is that you can have more statements, for example, about when a person is born or a place, and then you can say this is the one which is preferred. And you can also do it for so here we say this is United States and this is bad references because we are referencing ourselves. That's not what we want, but that's what we have. Grass. Here is someone who has at least added the URL. I think it's better to have the source with a name and so on. But this should state that this person 1950 April. What was it about the city? Township, yeah. Did something. And what you can do if you have more statements, which we don't have here, then but if you have more, you can say that this one is preferred, this is depreciated. When I was looking at coordinates I got from the Swedish government about bathing water, they were bad quality. And then I did depreciated rank of some of their coordinate because they were not good enough for Wikidata. And then we tried to find another source. So this is cool. I shouldn't speak more, but we need to speak if... don't hesitate to call me. Now you have, same as Wikidata, you have some issues we found in the data. If you find some issues in the Wikidata, let us know or change.